Hey guys, Justin here from Barbell Kings, and today we're going to be talking about hypertrophy, how to get swole, how to get bigger muscles, all that good stuff. We'll cover reps, sets, rest, and then some techniques to go along with it. So let's start with the reps. In bodybuilding, typically you'll see a lot of guys doing high volume sets, so lots and lots and lots of reps. Typically, you want to go between 6 and 25 reps. That's the magical numbers for hypertrophy, for gaining muscle. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to do those things. Obviously, you definitely want to do more than, I would say, more than 6 reps. It's a guideline, it's a tool. As far as the reps go, how you perform the reps is very important. It's not like strength training, where strength training you want to be super explosive and power through be super explosive through each rep. In hypertrophy training, you want to focus much more on the contraction of the muscles and time under tension. Those two things are going to be much more important than how you perform as to how you perform the reps. The next thing is sets. So with your number of sets, you don't have to go super high. In fact, if you go super high, you'll probably end up doing more more harm than good in that sense. Like if you do, all right, we'll say like 3. I would say no more than 6 sets and more than 3 sets. So somewhere between 3 and 6 sets. If you're burnt out by the 3rd set, and this is obviously going to depend on your fitness level. If you're burnt out at the 3rd set, you should stop. You know what I mean? If you completely exhausted the muscle, you completely exhausted the muscle. You're going to be doing more damage coming in and trying to do more. That being said, the number of sets, not necessarily the number of sets, but the cumulative effect of exhaustion over the sets is the most important thing for hypertrophy. You want to be, this is where that last rep or one more rep mentality comes in for a lot of guys, where you want to be working the muscle group to complete exhaustion. What happens is when you go beyond that, there's only so much glycogen storage in your muscles, and when you try to do let's do 10 sets at full exhaustion every set, you'll be killing yourself. Your body won't recover. But if you do let's say 3 to 5 sets, and that's with that same mentality, with that working the muscles to complete exhaustion. Like I said, the cumulative effect of the exhaustion over the number of sets. So working yourself to near exhaustion, or pretty much near exhaustion every set. Maybe for that last set, going for a complete burnout, getting every last rep, working the negative too. That's a big part of it. I'll talk about that more in the techniques later on. So that's for your sets. So the reps, you want to be focused on contraction. 6 to 25 reps, you want to focus on contraction, focus on time under tension. Wave at the cars going by. Focus on your contraction and your time under tension, and then your number of sets, 3 to 6 sets. I mean, you really shouldn't be doing, you'll hear the guys like Tom Platz would do a set of 10 minutes of squats, just fucking insane volume. Is, good for them, but it's not necessary. Third thing, rest. So first, I'll tell you what the golden, the golden standard for rest is for hypertrophy training, and then I'll tell you why I think it's bullshit and what I recommend. The golden rule for rest in between sets for hypertrophy training is somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds. The idea there is that they keep time under tension on the muscle as frequently as possible. There's no scientific evidence to support that that's necessary, or that it's helpful or beneficial in any way at all, actually. But so Dorian Yates used to do. He never defined his rest. He would just rest until he was ready to come back and do 100% for the next set, until he could work the muscle again to exhaustion on the next set, which is similar to what we talked about in the reps and sets. Being able, so if you give yourself 10 seconds of rest, and I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. Okay, where was I? Oh, if you rest only like 10 seconds and come right back into your set, your muscles are going to be tired, and you're not going to be able to get, you know, as much work done on that next set. So let's see, we've covered reps, we covered sets, we covered the importance of time under tension, muscle contraction, all that kind of stuff. Rest, I talked about that there's no real, I mean, the golden standard is 30 to 60 seconds, 90 seconds, you know, just a short rest, and then coming right back to it. I would say rest as much as you need in between sets so that you can come back and do a full another set to complete exhaustion or near exhaustion, and then all right, let's go over techniques then. Cheat reps would be first. Cheat reps are totally okay, especially if you want to focus on a certain part of the muscle. So let's say you're doing a bench press and you want to focus just on your pecs. You'll bring the bar down and go halfway up and just do, you know, half reps, cheat reps, things like that. To be able to achieve this. Oh, you see that car back there? Ah! Oh, sorry. Oh, he's on his phone, texting and driving. I tell you what, it's a good thing there's no traffic or people around here. Cheat reps are totally okay, especially to focus on certain areas of the muscle. I would also, working the negative is super important. I've talked about this before, but a lot of times when you say you work completely to exhaustion, let's say you're doing curls. I don't ever do curls, but let's say you're doing curls. And you work, you know, completely to exhaustion. You can't get the weight up anymore. If you have somebody come and help you pick the weight up, a lot of times you can still lower the weight. That's the negative portion of the movement. So with almost every exercise, on the negative portion, you can, if you have somebody help you, you're able to get, you know, maybe 2-3 more reps out of it and work the muscle even more. Cheat reps. Let's see. Supersets. I love supersets, especially for this kind of thing. Supersets are where you take 2 or 3 exercises and usually opposite muscle groups, or there's a word I want to use for this. That's all right. Like contracting muscle groups, or so bis and tris, or quads and hamstrings, or chest and back, or bis and back, you know, 2 different muscle groups. I'll just say that, 2 different muscle groups. And you'll go from one exercise, like say you're doing your curls, you go straight from your curls to some rows or whatever your other exercise is, and that way you're resting the muscle group while you're working out a different muscle group. Oh, there's another car again. Another thing that's important to mention, I think, is isolation exercises. So not compound movements, but like machines and things like that are a lot less taxing on the central nervous system than compound movements. So you're able to work the muscle a whole lot more before failure, before your central nervous system fails, which is cool. Next thing, let's see, we got cheat reps, supersets, drop sets. Drop sets are fucking intense. Drop sets are super helpful for hypertrophy. I wouldn't use them like 24/7 all the time, but here and there, definitely a good thing to sprinkle throughout. Drop sets are where, let's say, you'll put a heavy weight on there, do as many reps as you can, then you'll drop the weight and do as many reps as you can, and you'll just drop the weight until you're all the way down to either the bar or the last weight on the machine, and it's a great way to work yourself to complete exhaustion. Like I said, I wouldn't do them, all the time. I wouldn't do it every exercise, or I wouldn't do it every set, because you'll burn yourself out pretty quick. I'll save the best. I save the best for last. Isokinetic training is a real fancy word for just meaning the same speed down is the same speed up. When we were talking about muscle contraction, time under tension, and all that good stuff, working out slow is it's the exact opposite of how you would work out for strength, but it's the most effective for hypertrophy training. So let's say you want to do this is bench press. It's an easy movement to use. Use the same speed down. So 1, 2, 3 down. Pause for a second. 1, 2, 3 up. It's just slow and controlled, and that'll keep that muscle under contraction and give you a whole lot of time under tension, which is what we want. All right, I think that's everything. If you like, comment, subscribe, questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. That's pretty much the basics to training for muscle hypertrophy.